Number 3, data minimization. Need documentation of each type of personal data processed. Limit to what is necessary in relation to the purposes. Number 4, accuracy. Keep data up to date. Rectify inaccurate data immediately. Number 5, storage limitation. Retention of data must be within the necessary time. Apply pseudonymization techniques to store data for public interest. Number 6, integrity and confidentiality. Avoid tampering, avoid unauthorized access. Number 7, accountability is supporting evidence to prove compliance. CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act, is signed in 2018. The CCPA became effective on January 1st, 2020. The company has a privacy information request form based on CCPA guidelines. You might want to review California Consumer Privacy Act for more details. The CCPA will affect any business collecting or storing data about California residents and may effectively set the floor for nationwide privacy protection. Since most businesses will not want to maintain two privacy frameworks, one for California consumers and one for all other individuals. In general, the CCPA gives California consumers more information and control over their personal information is being used, and requires businesses to be more transparent in their handling of that information. CPRA, California Privacy Rights Act, was passed on November 3rd, 2020 ballot. CPRA goes into effect in January 2023 this year. CPRA enforcement will start in July 2023. CPRA expands CCPA law. CPRA is sometimes called CCPA 2.0. CPPA, California Privacy Protection Agency, was established in 2020 to implement CCPA. PIPEDA principles. Canada's Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act, PIPEDA, is a privacy toolkit or guide for businesses and organizations. Office of Privacy Commissioner of Canada has set 10 PIPEDA principles. Number 1, be accountable. The company is responsible to protect all PII data. While developing, processing, accessing, make sure data is protected at all the times. If you see any issues, please correct or report that issue to the security and privacy officer. Regarding the PII data, ask yourselves, why do we collect it? What do we use it for? How is it secured? Who has access to it and uses it? To whom is it disclosed? When is it disposed of? Did we collect consent? When and how is consent to be obtained? And to whom should I refer complaints about privacy matters? Number 2, identify the purpose. Before and when any personal information is collected, identify why it is needed and how it will be used. Collect consent from the individual before collecting the information. Number 3, obtain valid informed consent. Obtain the individual's consent before or at the time of collection, as well as when a new use of their personal information is identified. Number 4, limit collection. Limit the amount and type of information gathered to what is necessary strictly if for business purposes. Number 5, limit use, disclosure and retention. Use or disclose personal information only for the purpose for which it was collected, unless the individual consents. Keep personal information only if necessary to satisfy those purposes. Number 6, be accurate. The company is responsible to keep personal information as accurate, complete and up to date as necessary. Minimize the possibility of using incorrect information when making a decision about an individual. Number 7, use appropriate safeguards. Safeguard the information and from unauthorized access, disclosure, copying, misuse, modification or loss. Number 8, be open. The company is responsible for informing customers and clients about our policies and practices for the management of personal information. For easy access, all these policies are stored in a Google Drive and shared with any employees. Please check it out. Number 9, give individuals access. If requested, the company is responsible to inform individuals if we have stored any personal information about them. In addition, we are expected to give individuals access to their information, provide a copy of the information stored, or reasons for not providing access, subject to exceptions to the access principle. Also, we are in charge of correcting or amending any personal information to ensure accuracy and completeness. Number 10, provide recourse. The company is responsible to address any complaints. Anyone can launch a complaint by sending an email. The company is obligated to take corrective action for every complaint. Cross-border privacy rules (CBPR) and privacy recognition for processors (PRP) were developed in 2011 and for APIC. Cross-border privacy recognition and participating countries are USA, Mexico, Japan, Canada, Singapore, the Republic of Korea, Australia, Chinese Taipei, Philippines. FTC of USA is in the overview role. CBPR core privacy principles: notice, collection limitation, use limitation, choice and consent, security safeguard, access and correction, accountability, data integrity. ISO 27002. Oh, it is International Information Security Management Standards, ISMS. ISO 27002 first version came in 2005. ISO 27002 second version came in 2013, and which we are following as of today. It has 114 controls in 14 categories. ISO 27002 third version came in 2022, last year. It has 93 controls in 4 categories. Basically, some of the controls were removed from the previous version, and some of the new controls were added. ISO 27701 and came in 2019 in a privacy extension of ISO 27001 2013. Both GDPR and UK DPA, Data Protection Act 2018, do not provide enough guidance on what those measures should be. That's why ISO 27701 new standards came out. Basically, ISMS plus PIMS equal to ISO 27701. Basic policies. This slide shows how we manage access at the company. The company grants access on a minimal level, basically the level of access necessary to perform designated duties only. The company revokes access when access is no longer necessary. The company maintains segregation of duties among development, testing, and release functions. The approving authority, it does not grant access as a part of segregation of duties. Company system. The company properties are intended for the business use only. These properties need to be returned in case of separation of employment. We are expected not to transfer any company's data or source code. Removable media can only be used with proper permission. The company's systems may not be used for other businesses or any fraudulent activity such as sending spam, browsing inappropriate websites, hacking, or committing financial frauds using the company infrastructure. Personal use, which is non-interfering, is of course allowed. However, if we are storing personal data on the company systems out of convenience, it might not be a good idea because it might not remain private. All these policies must be followed by everyone in the company. We are also not supposed to use the company systems or properties for personal business purposes. We are not supposed to grant access to systems without proper permission. We are expected to take proper care when using public or private Wi-Fi so that the company systems or data are protected. For example, avoid accessing any sensitive data using insecure networks when connecting from a public or private Wi-Fi. The company email addresses may only be used for company business purposes. No representation of the company on social media without prior permission is allowed. We are responsible for protecting the company from introducing viruses while downloading attachments and unknown files or malicious code. We are not supposed to violate copyright laws or intellectual property rights either. Software for company owned laptops are approved and supplied by the company. We are not permitted to install any pirated software. Required cloud based subscription services and software are provided by the company. We are not allowed to access unauthorized system, both internal and external. We are expected to transfer files to clients using appropriate methods such as email, SFTP, which is the preferred one, or Google Drive. Before transferring data, we are expected to consider data classification such as PII data needs to be encrypted or transferred only via secure communications. Different types of data must be handled appropriately. For example, PII data must be handled differently from private data, which must be handled differently from press releases. We are expected to use unique RSA keys is that are at least 2 kilobytes in length, and we are not supposed to use somebody else's private keys. Do not share your password with anyone else. If updating a client password, the password must be transferred only via secure communications. We are responsible for maintaining confidentiality for the company secrets. We are responsible for maintaining confidentiality of company secrets such as product plan and software code, design, architecture, inventions, customer information, and financial information. It is not permitted to disclose inside information to others. That if the documents are confidential, then we are expected to mark it as such. We are responsible to use screen lock if not a desk. We are not supposed to use another person's credentials. Restricted data and private data need to be wiped off from the whiteboards after use. Private data may not be left out on the whiteboard. Public data can be left out on the whiteboard or on the desk. Developers are not supposed to introduce backdoors, malicious code, or other companies' intellectual property into our code. DevOps are prohibited from creating malicious interruption of systems. Phishing. What is it? Phishing is an attempt usually made through email to steal information. Hackers will send the emails with a click or button to click on. How to detect it? Check the spelling mistake on the domain, because most of the time hackers they use the alternative domain, and so there might be some kind of spelling mistake in the domain. Uh, for example, Facebook, they might type with three O's in it. So those kind of spelling mistake will be there, because with that spelling mistake they can register the domain name to send the phishing email. So check for any kind of phishing, any kind of spelling mistake. Another way to detect: hover over the link and look at the bottom of your browser for the real link. The best method is to copy and paste the link in a document and then examine it. So there are SMS phishing also, that is called smishing. Voicemail phishing also, that is called phishing. So ransomware, what is it? Ransomware is a piece of code that executes on your computer and will encrypt your files. Hackers demands to pay the fee to unlock the files. Usually it comes through email in an attachment with embedded macros. So look for the extension. If it is ends with m such as docm or xlsm, that means there are some macros in that file. That file format could be PDF, word doc, or excel documents. How to stay safe? Don't open any suspicious attachments, and also back up your important files into Google Drive if on a regular basis. Estimated global damage from ransomware as per FBI is $38 billion in 2022. Previous year was $20 billion. So is going uphill. Data leakage. Most common reasons could be sending an email to the wrong recipient and sending the wrong documents via email,